I told my daughter to show me her new boyfriend's photo. When I saw his face, I called 911 immediately. My coffee cup slipped from my hand and shattered on the kitchen floor. The face staring back at me from my daughter's phone screen was one I'd memorized from FBI briefings for the past 18 months. Lily was grinning beside me, completely unaware that her new boyfriend was on the National Sex Offender Registry under a different name. I'm a parole officer. I've seen thousands of faces, but this one had been flagged as high risk and vanished before authorities could track him down. His name was supposed to be Brian Walsh, 34 years old, convicted of assaulting 3 teenage girls in Ohio before jumping state lines and disappearing. But according to Lily, her boyfriend's name was Brandon Wells, a 28-year-old marketing consultant she'd met at a coffee shop near her college campus. I looked at my 19-year-old daughter, still beaming about her new relationship, and my throat closed up. She'd been dating this man for 6 weeks. He'd already met her roommate. He knew where she lived. I forced myself to stay calm. Honey, how much does Brandon know about our family? Lily shrugged and said he knew her dad worked in law enforcement, but nothing specific. My stomach dropped further. He'd specifically targeted the daughter of someone in the system. This wasn't random. I excused myself to the bathroom and pulled up the federal database on my phone. Brian Walsh, last known location, Columbus, Ohio. Distinguishing features, small scar above left eyebrow, tattoo of a compass on right forearm. I zoomed in on the photo Lily had shown me. Same scar. I texted her asking if Brandon had any tattoos. She replied with a heart emoji and a photo of them together at the beach. There it was, the compass tattoo on his right forearm, exactly where the file said it would be. I called Detective Brennan from the local FBI field office. She answered on the second ring, and I explained everything in a rushed whisper. She told me to keep Lily home and not to alert the suspect. But Lily was already grabbing her keys, saying she was meeting Brandon for dinner in an hour. I couldn't let her leave. I told her I wasn't feeling well and asked if she could stay home tonight. She rolled her eyes and said I was being dramatic. I blocked the doorway. Lily, please, just this once. She stared at me like I'd lost my mind. Dad, you're being so weird. I'll be back by 10. She pushed past me and was gone before I could stop her. I tracked her phone to a restaurant downtown and drove there with Detective Brennan on speaker. She had units en route but needed me to confirm visual identification before they could move in. I parked across the street and watched through the window. There he was, sitting across from my daughter, holding her hand, laughing at something she said. The same man who'd convinced a 15-year-old in Toledo that he loved her before assaulting her in his apartment. The same man who'd groomed 2 sisters in Cleveland by pretending to be a college student. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone. Brennan told me to stay in the car. I couldn't. I walked into the restaurant and straight to their table. Lily's face went from confused to angry in seconds. Dad, what are you doing here? Brandon looked up at me and his expression flickered, just for a moment. He recognized something in my eyes. Mr. Mitchell, nice to finally meet you. His voice was smooth, practiced. I pulled out my phone and showed him the federal database entry with his real face on it. Brian Walsh, wanted in 3 states. You picked the wrong family. His mask cracked. He lunged across the table toward Lily, but I grabbed his arm and twisted it behind his back. Lily screamed. Other diners scattered. Brandon was yelling that I was crazy, that he'd sue me, that I had the wrong guy. Detective Brennan burst through the door with 4 agents behind her. They cuffed him on the floor while he kept screaming about his rights. Lily was crying, asking me what was happening. I showed her the file, the victims, the convictions, the warrant. Her face went white when she saw the photos of the girls he'd hurt, all of them around her age. Brandon, or Brian, stopped struggling when he realized it was over. He looked at me one last time. She would have been my best one yet. Brennan had to hold me back. Brian Walsh received 42 years for fleeing prosecution, identity fraud, and attempted assault, and Lily transferred to a college closer to home the following semester.